by 6, first quarter about to end. Yep. I think the final boss will win, but I would like to see a good series at least.
Oh no, we're not live yet. Now we're live with a very
Live.
special Metal Lab interview special. We don't do these too often, and this is one I've kind of been wanting to do for a while. And it's a little, it's extra special because it's not the first time he's been on the channel, but it's a different capacity he's on the channel. I want to introduce everybody, Kennie Peña. Say hello to everybody.
Hi everyone. Hi everyone. Thanks for having me on.
Hey, anytime. Now, for those of you familiar, usually we talk about HeroClix strategy and everything, and usually our guests are more focused on great players in the game. And Kenny is a great player in the game. He's a two-time national champion, both in the same year. The conqueror of North America, as it were.
All right, didn't get Mexico, but sure.
Yeah, that's fair point. But the reason I have Kenny on today is Kenny, in his current capacity in the game of HeroClix, is the lead tournament organizer. Is that the correct title?
The event tournament organizer. No need for the lead. Just
okay. Yeah. I guess I don't know if you have a team below you or anything like that. So you always go for lead. But when it comes down to it, this is a man who makes a lot of really big decisions about tournament organization, and I kind of want to open the window to people, just kind of take a look into what Kenny does for us in the game of HeroClix. We have a couple pre-screened questions because he does have a capacity with HeroClix. I had to get these double checked, so thank you for doing that for me, Kenny.
Yep.
And we're going to start with right from the beginning. So, how do your experiences in HeroClix? How did your experiences in HeroClix lead you to this position that you're in, the tournament organizer? You went from HeroClix champion to just a generally great player to a tournament organizer. How did that kind of come to be?
I wouldn't say it was a direct thing that led my previous experiences and success, things like that led to it. It did help though. Pretty much. Playing the game at a high level and winning like I did, especially that one year when I did the 2 nationals. You get to talk to a lot of people, whether they're players, staff, volunteers, whatever, and you start developing friendships and things like that. And 2016, 2017, you're seeing these same people, and you get to call them friends. And all of a sudden, I found myself being a volunteer 2017. I'm not sure if you recall that. I opted to
remember that.
Go and judge and volunteer because I saw how things were progressing. I wanted to help out, and that also kind of helped open the door and get even more time talking to certain people within the company or close to the company. And I expressed my interest in I wanted to deep dive. I wanted to keep on going more and more and more. And I guess they saw that. And once an opportunity came around and talking to the right amount of people, knowing what I know and my past experiences, the opportunity was presented to me. And obviously, you see me here today. I accepted it. So I'm not going to say the championship wins and playing well was the reason for it, but it definitely didn't hurt either. It helped make those connections in the first place. And I took advantage of it. I didn't let it squander, and I'm grateful for it.
Awesome. I guess it's also kind of convenient you live in the same city as Wizkids, right? Or the same area, state.
Same state.
Yeah. State. That's what it's.
That helps too.
All right. Next up, in this position as the tournament organizer, what part do you play in the overall management of WKOs, national championships, world championships, all those stuff?
So, you kind of alluded to earlier where, there's a lead or things like that, and it's all teamwork. When you think about it in the company, Everything's a team job. Sure, that is my title, and that's where most of my work will go to when it comes to the event organization, tournament organization, decisions like that. That sure, I help out with other things as well. But when it comes to that, it is a team effort. We take a look at what we need to, whether it's stores that are existing stores that are doing well with WKOs, stores that are struggling, potential new areas to try to reach out to that probably haven't had a WKO and maybe could have good success. And I don't know if it's been noticeable, but I know in the past year there's been a little bit more shuffling going around with certain stores getting them, not getting them, but trying out new stores. And sure, that might upset people because they may lose out on one session of WKOs, but it really is trying to just gather as much information as possible and data and just making sure as many people can get at least a piece of the pie rather than the same stores over and over and over again. Uh, just what's the correct word? Other than the same stores, just getting them over and over again when we could be expanding a bit more and seeing if that could lead to more WKO invitations in the future.
Okay. Cool. This actually kind of answers the next question, which is, do you make any decisions on what stores do and do not get to run events?
I I help with those decisions. I'm not a dictator. I don't have an iron fist where I pound my fist and say, "Hey, that store doesn't get it, or that store does." I have a say in certain things when it does come to that decision time with the right amount of people in the office. And sometimes it'll go the way I suggest, sometimes it won't. But like I said, it's an effort, and we try to make the best decisions possible, not only just for us, but for that area, for those stores to have the greatest amount of success. That's the most important thing to us. We these WKOs we're trying to get the stores to drive as many people to them. Money's important. They do need to make money. Opportunity for them to have success with players, community be happy, the stores be happy, we're happy, and it really is a team effort. So no, I don't just snap my fingers and say, hey, yes, no. There is a process involved.
Awesome. That's good to hear. Is that it's kind of their thought process goes behind it.
Hmm.
So the next question then is, what control or say do you have in the moderation of the rules? Specifically, were the most recent rules, the comprehensive rules updates, your creation, or was that once again a team effort on behalf of others?
Everything's a team effort. Sure, there might have been some specific ones that I brought up, and it led to some tinkering to get the wordings right and to be implemented. But there were some other ones that were not ideas that I brought up at all. So once again, just stressing that it's not just one person show or a two-person show. There are a lot of people with a lot of ideas, and it took a while. It took a long while to get that done. Whether it be just wordsmithing, the proper verbiage, even playtesting a little bit with the new rules to make sure we're not overlooking something or damaging the game or things in that matter. So sure, if you need to know maybe a few that I suggested that ended up being on the final product, but it's not 100% on me. It definitely was a team project.
Okay. And following up on that, what was the kind of the was there any particular catalyst to this, or was this a long time coming group of comprehensive rules updates?
A little bit of both. Sometimes there's some tournament results that we see that raise an eyebrow. There were other rules that were just in the making, based off many years of results that just kept on wane and wane. It was just like, this is probably not the best thing for the game right now. So sure, there might have been some that were, wow, this happened last time. We don't like this. We should probably address it now before it gets worse. And the other ones were just like, this has been happening for too long. Maybe it's time for a change. Maybe we should try something different. And I do think the overall product that we got right now, I feel great about it. I know it's been in effect since May something, May 11th.
Yeah, I think it was 22nd was when they were official.
Uh, I know it was recent. I don't think there have been any. major complaints. I know there haven't been any major tournaments per se. I know Rocks are running, and there's some regionals and qualifiers, and those can be big events, but nothing has struck out or nothing has come out and been surprising or negative about it. And I'm hoping that in nationals, which is coming up in Origins, for US at least, everything's going to go smoothly. People are aware of what the rules are, and it's going to be received well. And I'm confident with that.
Okay, awesome. Now, when I know a lot of players who are familiar with you as a player, and I'm sure many of them want to know this one.
Sure.
Do you still play HeroClix? And if
Yeah.
so, in what capacity? Like, are you able to attend tournaments, or are you just kind of stuck on the outside of the tournament scene, kind of going, let's see what's going on?
I mean, I've gone to tournaments. We have tournaments in my home store in Boonton, New Jersey. Atlanta Games and Comics, where if they had a WKO, they asked me to host it or do the judging for it. So I'm still attending the tournaments and like competing and playing. That's a difference.
Nah.
I'm not. So that's probably what they're more concerned with or curious about. And for obvious reasons, it's probably not the best look if I were to work for the company and compete for in a game that the company makes conflict inside information, and we don't want that. I don't want to upset anyone. I knew that going in, and yeah, it stings a little bit because I do like playing the game. I love the game and all, but it's part of the package deal. And when I do have opportunity to play, whether it be with my friends or a casual weekly night at the store, I try my best to take advantage of it and keep my skills sharp, I guess is the best way to put it. Also, Roll20 helps a lot online. Prepping some people when they want to, some friends who are trying to get ready for major tournaments gives me an opportunity to, sharpen the edges there a bit and say, hey, I still got it.
Well, it's good to know you still get to play the game because you got to love the game to do what you're doing, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
And the next one, without going into too much detail on this one, because I know there's going to be NDAs surrounding this one, if depending on how you answer it. Does your position require to have any contact with game design?
Minimally, technically, minimally. I mean, event tournament organizer. So my main focus really is just on events. However, if you want me to share a little bit more information, just because
It's your contract.
yeah, no. I definitely do have little hats that I put on every now and then and helping out. Um, and we kind of touched upon it before, where you were asking about the rule creation, things like that. Um, I believe they recognize that I do have experience with the game, tournaments, and whatnot. So there are going to be times where they ask me for an opinion or for help when it comes to something with game design, which I'm more than happy to help out with. But it's not my primary role. I'm also not the only person that they go to. There are a bunch of other designers, R&D, play testers. So I'm one of many in that field. So to answer your question, technically, no, I really don't need to have it. But since I do work for there and I do try to help out as much as I can, I do have some contact with game design. Yes.
Cool. Awesome. It's one of those things. It's like, do the tournament organizers have a say in what happens to a figure, or is it like, hey, you played the game. What happens if I do this to a character kind of situation? So, all right.
Yeah.
And the last official, like, related to your job question,
Sure.
is, do you have any input in regards to the infamous watch list?
Why is it infamous?
I don't know. Everybody always wants something to be watch listed, and somebody hates figures. Watch list this guy.
When was the last watch list we had?
Oh, it's been more than a year, I think, at this point.
That means that's a good thing, isn't it?
Believe me, I think it's a good thing, and I also think there's nothing that needs to be watch listed. So, all the damage has been done. I think the last thing was Unimind, right?
If I remember correctly, I think it was late last. I want to say early 2018 or late 2017.
Yeah.
I think it was the Unimind, the Jakeem Thunder one, and a few other things that I can't remember right now. I'm sure once I look it up, it'll rush back.
I think it was a boxing ring, Unimind.
Boxing ring, that's right.
And I think something else that didn't get touched.
But anyway, when it comes, so I mean, you see the common theme here: teamwork. It's a team effort thing. So, Yeah, I suppose you can say I definitely had some input and shared some thoughts when it comes to the watch list. Definitely not a one man show. I can't stress that enough. And I think that's a good thing when it comes to working with WizKids, that there are a lot of people who are involved in many different aspects of it. And it's good to not have someone who, let's say, is solely doing one role and then trying to do something else and a little bit out of touch. I think it's a good feel, and it's um, a good work environment having it that way, where we do have a lot of people involved. And so it's that watch list thing definitely was once again another team effort.
Awesome. All right. So that aside, we're done asking about your job directly.
All right.
So from here, it's just kind of we're gonna kind of
Hopefully it wasn't
use.
hopefully it wasn't too boring.
I mean, when it comes, it's exciting for me. I always love to know this stuff, what goes on behind the curtains.
Yeah.
I'm that kind of guy, though. I am behind the curtains in a similar industry, so I get these kinds of questions all the time where I have to turn them and say, "Can't tell you." So I'm glad you were able to tell us a lot more than I would be able to tell you if you were asking about my job. So, but that aside, let's go to the gaming hero clicks and just kind of your musings. In recent years, like your observations, being where in your position you're in now, do you feel like the game? Obviously, the figures being played, the game itself is slightly different. Do you think it's where it is like a really great place? Do you think there's anything as players that kind of people need to work on, or
um, answer your first question, I'm a little jealous because I really do think right now the way the game is right now is probably in my brief history. I haven't been playing since 2002. I would say since 2010. So I missed a good chunk, probably 8 years or so. But since that time frame of me being as intimate with HeroClix, this is probably one of the best times that I can recall. Where at least in the competitive scene, there's just so much variety and there's so much you can do with so many different figures, team ideas, characters, and I can't play. I know, right? That's a little selfish of me, but I really do think it's in a great place. It might be one of the best time periods we've had when it comes to competitive variability. And
awesome? Oh.
I don't remember the second part of your question. Do you mind repeating that?
The part is, do you feel like the player attitudes or player environment is the same, different, changed? From the outside looking in, how do you feel the general comfort level of HeroClix players are? It's a weird question. I don't know where I came from with it. So,
No, it's okay. Yeah, I mean, I think just like the game, when it comes with different rotations in modern age and retirement and things like that, players also have a different. They evolve too differently. So to answer your question, yes, they are probably a little bit different than what I recall maybe a few years ago when I was a lot more active. I don't think that's a bad thing per se.
Mhm.
I also know things are different. We have all these tournament reportings now. We have all these different podcasts, like yourself and select others. I mean, actually, a lot others, but uh,
Mhm.
4 or 5 years ago, there weren't as many of those. So there is a lot of more exposure going on when it comes to Facebook, social media, things like that. So when either a budding new competitive player, a casual player, or someone who's completely brand new is going to have access to a lot more information from different angles, different points of views, which I think is a good thing. I would say maybe the one negative, and I could be wrong, that because of that, I feel like creativity when it comes to team building, uh, not stagnant, but it uh, even though we do start in a time period where modern age is as crazy and viable, I do feel a lot of people will tend to see what's successful, which is good, play that team, maybe not work out all the kinks themselves because anyone can run a team, but if you're not knowing what you're doing, you might struggle. Have experience that failure and not understand why, and then that puts them in a negative spot. So if I feel like there might have to be a little bit more deep diving when it comes to some of those team builds that come attached with them. So when they do play them, they have a better understanding. And I know there's been a great effort lately to do that with a lot of the top players running their team reports, whether they win a tournament, come in second or eighth, whatever. I think that's good. I think a little bit more of that, especially now since we have all these different team builds coming out of the woodwork with all these different archetypes, could go a long way and help out even more.
Awesome. And do you feel like the vulture fear is overblown?
Yes,
Awesome.
yes, I do. He's potent. I played it. I gave it a shot, and I saw how ridiculous it can get, and I was like, wow, this is silly. But then when you really understand what I'm trying to, or what you're trying to do with that part of with the build as an opponent, you recognize what you need to do differently, and that's adapting. That's part of the game. There's always going to be something new that comes out. You have to figure out how to deal with it, and maybe the certain team you're running isn't best equipped to it, and you have to make a decision. Do I want to play this team? Do I want to try a new team? Can I figure a way out to do it? That's just the way it is. And I think we're recognizing that, yeah, when he first came out, you see it everywhere. Now, all of a sudden, you're not hearing Vulture all that much. So, yeah, it was probably overblown. That doesn't mean it's bad. That doesn't mean you probably won't see it again. But I think the hype definitely died down a little bit.
Awesome. I personally, I still scream about it because I love bystanders. So.
He punishes bystanders. That is true.
Yeah, or it basically ends the game for them, and it's made me sad, but it's also taking me out of my comfort zone, which I'm kind of liking.
And once again, that's called adapting. Whether you're playing a new team or figuring a way out or best around it, that's self improvement, and that's good. That's not a bad thing. Sometimes you need a little fear to help you improve your game a little bit, whether you want to or not, or that's the way you like it. But Bob's been to it, and I think that's helpful.
Yeah. I think it about covers everything we wanted to do, unless you want to start addressing some of the fan questions.
Fan questions, okay.
I mean, and of course, answer them how you see fit.
Sure.
So, guys, if you're watching live in the chat, throw a couple questions in the chat, capital letter question in front of it so we can see it. I'm just kind of opening up. Facebook wants to be slow when I stream, so.
Mm-hmm.
All right, come on. One I don't think you can answer is when's Canadian Nationals. People ask me that question. I'm like, I don't know.
You don't know when Canadian Nationals is?
No, I don't know when Canadian Nationals is.
Aren't you supposed to know that?
Apparently, I'm the one who's supposed to know. So, Alex and friends, let me know.
I can confidently say that the information has been sent out for national championships and what distributors and organizers need to do to make sure that it happens. And there's a certain time frame where they can run it. And I know Canada historically has liked to run their nationals earlier than later. So I would assume that information will be coming out from the tournament organizer shortly. So progress has been made. It's not like it's sitting on a desk somewhere or no progress has been made, but sit tight. It's going to happen soon.
I'm just going to quickly, briefly, Carta Magica. Vite, ici? Huh? Actually, that was terrible English. I just said quick here. What? Okay. This one, I don't know if you do or do not have an answer for this one. But Chris Stockhouse here wants to know, with the rock points, the new way that the rock and Wizkids kind of work together. You have those WKO system. Are you guys already planned on figured out a way of how you're going to track and manage that when you're running nationals and worlds this year, or is that still kind of being worked and you're going to be ready for it at the time?
I think I mostly have it figured out. I believe there's going to be a cutoff date that Monday the same week of Origins Nationals, and pretty much for any other nationals, it'll probably be that Monday, the week of, where WKO points are going to be locked. And then from there, you pretty much have your options where you have a WKO qualification or your points to use when you go to the event. And it will be updated with the qualified participant list. So there shouldn't be, no system is perfect, but there really shouldn't be any major issue when it comes to searching and finding, hey, this person's qualified via this way or that way. And if you happen to be qualified, let's say you did win a WKO and you also have X amount of points to enter. The WK points do not expire. The WKO wins only last for the year. Yeah, I don't want to be a jerk and just say, hey, you got to use this one and not that one. Uh,
But it's
we
probably a better idea to use the one that expires.
Probably,
Yeah.
but we want to be as welcoming as possible, and we want to make sure that this is a fun a thing for the future. Keeping track of the points, so not everyone can always make it out the same year that they do qualify, and having the system that we have in place helps out with that, where they can try out next year, or maybe a player needs 2 years to build up the points and never could make it out to Origins or Worlds or a different national, and it's a little bit more inviting to know that they could earn up that security of not having to grind their way in, and then when they choose to go to a national, they have that ease of mind of saying, I'm just going to go, wait for the main event, have some fun, battle royales, do what they want to do, and it's just more fun that way.
All right. Now, I'd be lynched if I didn't ask.
Okay.
As far as the new announcement today, Memphis and being the location for HeroClix Worlds this year, there's nothing going on there. So WizKids is just running Worlds on their own, no conventions, nothing. You just kind of go in and go play HeroClix.
I'm unfamiliar with this announcement. What are you talking about?
Well, the announcement we got today, or at least I got linked today, is that 2019's HeroClix Worlds is going to be between
Memphis.
the weekend of September 8th in Memphis, Tennessee. A place I've never been, so it's a new state I get to add to my trip south.
Tennessee, yep.
Yeah, because I've been to Louisiana, Georgia, Columbia, New York, and Jersey briefly. So Tennessee's going to be a new experience for me.
Okay.
And is this actually separate of a convention, or is there like a small convention going on? Excuse me. That
Getting choked up from this, yeah.
I am. I'm forgetting how to use punctuation in my sentences.
Well, unfortunately, everything that you read in that announcement is all the information that we can share at this moment.
I was expecting a lot more of those answers today, so thank goodness.
Yeah, so sorry to disappoint. Hang tight. Once more information does become available, we will be sure to share it as soon as possible.
I want to apologize to everybody. I don't know what is getting connected and unconnected on my computer, so I apologize for that noise if it's coming out to you guys. It's
not me, is it?
Hearing that USB connection noise right now. I'm just gonna unplug something and see if that goes. Hopefully that'll be the end of it, because I think it was actually my portable hard drive. All right, Ricky Yell. I don't know if you're gonna have an answer for this one, but are we gonna be seeing Ultra Chases in all booster sets moving forward? I don't know if you even have an answer for that one.
Let's see. We had an Ultra Chase, Earth X. We didn't have one in Rebirth, right? We had one in. So I don't have an answer for that one, but we had two this year. So I don't know if he's on the I like Ultra Chases fence or I don't like Ultra Chases fence, but unfortunately, I'm not the right person to ask that. And sorry.
His next question actually might be the one that you might be qualified to ask or to answer is there still going to be a HeroClix presence at PAX Unplugged this year?
I can't talk about that right now.
Gotcha.
Yep.
The fans are unpredictable as far as questions are concerned.
No,
I was predictable, so I understand when you can not answer questions.
They're fair questions. I get it, but trust me, if I can speak on something, I will. But if I can't, I'll just nod my head and do this.
Yeah, gotcha. I don't know if you can or can't answer on this particular one. I'm gonna throw a curveball, and I fully expect to get blocked on this question fully.
Mm-hmm.
The last experience with PAX in Philadelphia this past year, how was that as a tournament organizer? What were some of the big challenges that you had that you either didn't account for or had to account for? I know the first one was you needed to get more tables together for Team Worlds.
Well, I started working with the company 2018 March, so I'm a year and 2 months, 3 months. So you can imagine that the first year, I don't want to say they held my hand through things, but there were definitely other people there with more experience that I leaned on when it came to events and the organization and whatnot. So fast forward to PAX in December, and there's not much I can share about that, but I can definitely share with you that being a little wet behind the ears and going into it and thinking you have everything figured out, and all of a sudden, like this curveball question you're throwing at me, 14 curveballs are being thrown at me from different things where sometimes no matter how much planning you can do, something will go wrong. And it's pretty much, how you troubleshoot, critically think about it, and just get a resolution, resolve it to make sure it's right. And sometimes that's quick. Sometimes it's frustratingly long and annoying. And it's just trying to keep a cool head about it and trying to get it done so that way we get what we promise. Players are not being held back or waiting on things, and sometimes they do, and it's a shame. I wish everything was perfect, and that never happens. But that's just life, and that's just not tournament or event organization. That's literally anything. Pick anything in life, and that's things like that will happen. So it was a good experience for me for learning. I know that we had a lot of people in attendance. I know a lot of people felt a certain way. I do think the event overall, through its completion, was people were happy with it. There's definitely critiques from other people when it came to other aspects, and we're listening to all that, and we're just trying to make a better experience for everyone in the future, for any show, not just PAX itself, and also for me to learn and try to just improve on that, so that way I can make those quick decisions I need to even quicker and not hold anyone back for whatever reasons. So it's all about self improvement for me and teamwork with the rest of the crew when it comes to event organizations. It's just get it done right, and if there needs to be something that needs to get done right.
Awesome. Well, I look forward to this year and you getting a chance to learn from any of the challenges that you had packed and improve upon them this year. And hopefully, Memphis is accommodating for you and makes that work in the way you want it to. So, if there's anything you want to close with yourself, Kenny, feel free. We're going to be wrapping it up.
No, I mean, this was fun. It's been too long, I think. How many years since the last time? Uh,
Too way,
was-
way, way too long. Like I think
yeah,
it might have been around nationals last year when I was still doing round tables for that. I should get one together next week, to be brutally honest. So,
yeah, it's going to be a good one, especially now with rotation being passed. There's a lot to cover, and I'm looking forward to it. And yeah, part of me still kind of wants to compete and play, but I also enjoy watching. I also enjoy making sure everyone has a good time. I'm looking forward to Origins in a few weeks, and seeing a lot of the players that I only get to see maybe once or twice a year, and, I'm excited. I'm excited for the event season this year. I'm excited for the sets that we had for HeroClix and upcoming sets that what's it, X-Men animated. I think that's going to be a killer one. And Jason, thanks for having me on. This was a lot of fun. Like I said, it's been too long, but I appreciate it.
Unfortunately, I do have to address this last one because this one came in as a $2 super chat.
$2 super chat. Okay. I don't know what that means, but okay.
Super chats and YouTube are something that people can pay to get a little bit of extra attention on their
Ooh.
questions in
Okay.
chat, or just pay attention to me kind of thing. And
Sure.
it's from Chris Stockhouse. He wants to know, can Jason host the world's live stream? I want to play, man.
Can Jason host the world's live stream? Well, uh, I'm focused on nationals right now. So
We're asking you some dumber questions.
we will we'll cross that bridge when we get there. So sorry, don't know anything for you right now.
We'll cross that bridge when I don't qualify for Sunday, okay? Kenny, I want to say thank you very much for joining us today. It's been a pleasure having you. And thank you for all the hard work you've been doing. The organized play, especially on the high level, has been fantastic the past 2 years. And I have no complaints myself, and I want to commend you and the team that you work with on such a great job for the past little bit. So thank you for your hard work. Thank you very much for joining us and opening what was available of your heart to us today.
No, once again, thanks for having me. And I just, I want people to have a good time. I really do. And I'm glad you are, and I'm hoping others do as well. Whether it be watching this right now, just getting some questions answered, or come on down to the events and just let's go. Let's have a good time. Play some clicks, win or lose. It's a game. Let's have fun.
Yeah. And remember this beautiful face when you want to say thank you or talk to somebody about who's running tournaments.
Where?
Oh, I was pointing at me.
Oh, okay.
All right, folks. Have a good night.
All right. Thanks.
That title and that music.
How was that?